Hello people on the interwebs, hope you're having a great day and welcome to my channel. Now today's video I'm talking about how to save money in Japan, especially if you're thinking of travelling here as a tourist, or even if you live here as well, because these are some also useful things to do while travelling on how to save big money in Japan, and especially now for how cheap the yen is. Make use of the extra savings you do here to buy more things or see more things in Japan. So let's dive straight into it. So number one is actually when you come to Japan or when you look on social media, everyone shows off the konbinis. You have to go to the konbinis. You have to go to 7-Eleven, Family Mart, or Lawson's. You have to go to them while you're in Japan. And I do recommend while you are here to go to the konbinis. But don't spend all your time in konbinis and buying your lunch in konbinis, because konbinis are so expensive. Go to the local supermarkets instead of the konbinis for lunch, because the supermarkets are a lot cheaper than the konbinis. The supermarkets also offer lunch options throughout the day, and many of the supermarkets will make lunch sets. They will make bentos. You can get sushi. You can get many things in the supermarket. I would actually say you have a bigger option for lunch choices in the supermarkets than you get in the konbinis, and they are also so much more cheaper. I find if I have to buy lunch in a konbini, I'm easily spending over 1,000 yen, where if I buy it in the supermarket, I'm spending on average probably around 500 yen, because they can give you a decent bento box, which is around kind of 300 and 400 yen, and then you buy a drink and it kind of just goes around to 500 to 600 yen. So it is a lot cheaper than the konbinis. And also, if you're shopping in the supermarkets and you've come a bit later for lunch, keep an eye out for the discount stickers, since in Japan it's very common for the supermarkets to slap discounts on very quick. The average stickers you will see is 20% off or half price. So I really recommend to keep an eye on the discount stickers. They look roughly like this. So if you go in the supermarkets, you can probably even find a cheaper deal for lunch, as they love throwing the discount stickers very much and very often. So definitely go to the supermarkets for lunch instead than the konbinis. Also, being a foreigner in Japan, it's highly likely that you cannot speak the language, you cannot speak Japanese. So when you're traveling around and if you see any section of English, you will gravitate towards it, because you know you're going to have an easier time gliding through that section with ease. And most times you should be fine, but especially in tourist sections, watch out for something I like to call English tax. If a restaurant or a travel company, if they have the luxury of being able to translate it for you in English, or you can order in English, it tends to be more expensive, because they are taking advantage of the foreigners who do not understand Japanese, and they will slap the English on and charge you much more. So please be careful of this, because I've actually experienced this English tax a couple of times. I bought some tickets for a train once online, and that was much more expensive than if I actually went to the local train station in person to order the tickets. And also in highly tourist areas. A great example of this is in the new year. So I was traveling in Nagano, and me and my friends, we were staying in the local Japanese section, but just down the road there was a very busy skiing tourist section, and we decided to go there one night for dinner, since they had Mexican food, and we thought that would be fun, let's go get some Mexican food. And it was a nice easy time, because everything was in English, the staff could speak English, it was great. But the price for the Mexican food was so expensive. Drinks were easily 1,000 yen, some food was at least over 2,000 yen. It was definitely 4 times the price of what local Mexican food restaurants I've been into Japan that's in a more Japanese area. So please watch out for the English tax. I know sometimes it's very convenient, but you're actually getting shafted and paying way too much for the regular price of food, because they just are taking advantage of tourists who do not understand Japanese. So watch out for that, that's a very big one. Also, while you're traveling around and you're shopping, make sure to bring your passport with you to certain shops, since there's many shops in Japan that offers tax-free. So when you are shopping and you show your passport, they will take the tax off the product. So everyone likes saving money that way, so always important So if you find shops and you want to buy things, if you haven't got your passport, come back later with your passport to buy the product and get that tax discount off. A great example of this is Don Quixote. Everyone loves shopping in Don Quixote, and that one is a big tax-free place. So make sure if you're shopping there to bring your passport. So make sure you take advantage of the tax-free shopping if there's anything you want to buy, and especially again for how cheap the yen is, take advantage of that with the tax off as well. So that's even double savings right there. And then my last one is the time you go to Japan. Now, when you are booking your holiday, please take the time and consideration of when you want to go, because I know a lot of people, when they think about going to Japan, they want to go during Sakura season, which is cherry blossom season, and that is sort of around end of March to April time. And the prices for Japan, they skyrocket because they know that's when tourists want to come to Japan. Also the same for Golden Week, so which is at the end of April to beginning of May. That price becomes expensive. Same thing with the end of year for the New Year travel. If you have the luxury, you can go to Japan anytime. Definitely avoid those periods of time, since the price for flights and traveling tends to be a lot more expensive. If you are a person who, but I really want to go to Japan during Sakura season, then one thing to take into account is look at the Sakura forecast when it's predicted, since obviously end of March to April is the time for Sakura season, but depending which part of Japan you go to, Sakura season starts earlier at the bottom of the country, and then as you work your way to the top, it's later because the bottom is more warmer and the top's colder. So the sakura comes out a little bit later because the temperature hasn't warmed up yet. So take into account of that. So if you go a little bit later, you may still be able to catch some sakura if you go to the topper parts of Japan. Also, if you go earlier as well, since some sakura in Japan, they have early blooming ones, since there is definitely, where I live, there are some sakura trees that are early bloomers that were blooming in February. So if you come in February, you've got a high chance of seeing sakura. Also, if you don't really care what the flower you are looking at, February is also plum season in Japan. So all the plum trees' flowers are also coming out during that time as well. I think plum season is also a really beautiful time in Japan, since the flowers on those trees are just as beautiful as sakura. And again, if you do not care what flowers you see in Japan, but you want to see flowers in Japan, if you come at the end of sakura season, so end of April, beginning of May, you will actually come to Japan during wisteria season, which are these long, beautiful purple flowers. So that's also a really great time to see some amazing flowers in Japan. To be honest, if you do not care for flowers at all and you do want to see maybe one or two flowers when you come to Japan, any season you come to Japan, there are some type of flower blooming at that time. So there are different types of flowers all year round. So I would definitely say if you do not care about flowers, book whenever it is cheaper. But if you want to get a cheap flight to Japan, definitely book when it is not peak season, because regardless of the time you come to Japan, there's still going to be amazing things on offer to see in this beautiful country. But there you guys have it. Those are my few top tips to saving money in Japan when you are coming on holiday. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you know any other great saving tips for Japan, put in the comments down below. Like I say in many of my videos, I want these videos to be a great community spot to help one another when exploring this country. So leave it down below. And if there's anything else you want to see on my videos and channel, guys, also let me know in the comments down below. But make sure you're having a good day. Make sure you like and subscribe. And just remember, guys, keep being awesome, keep being amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.